Welcome to Good Grief. Today we are going to talk about trauma and PTSD. Kate has been working with trauma clients for over 20 years, and so we're going to pick her brain and ask her a lot of questions about what exactly is PTSD.
Okay.
Kate, what are some of the symptoms of PTSD?
So PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. So one thing that is really important is an event has occurred in your life that is outside of the normal experience of life. Some of the symptoms would be hyperarousal or hypervigilance, where you're just preparing for the trauma to happen again, or the intrusive thoughts that interfere in your relationships or interfere in your life events, or nightmares or flashbacks where you're actually almost reliving the experience again, whether or not you were there when the trauma happened or whether you just heard about it. It's replaying in your mind.
Okay, so when would a person think, maybe I should get help for this? What kind of differentiates?
So if the trauma's happened, it's normal to experience some of those symptoms within the first 3 months. When it goes beyond the first 3 months, and when it's interfering in your life, in your relationships, it's a sign that it's really time to seek help sooner rather than later with a professional.
Why is it necessary to work on it? Will it not just go away on its own?
No, we all hope and pray that it will just go away on its own. But usually what happens is people who are in the grieving process, especially with post-traumatic stress disorder, what the concern is that they can actually get stuck in that grieving process. The movie Inside Out, it really displays that really well when Riley, the little girl in the movie, decides to not experience sadness, and then she falls into the depths of despair and grief because she just wants to experience joy and she wants to push sadness in her life away in her life, and it just doesn't work. We have to go through the process and embrace all the technicolors of life, even the dark, icky colors that we really want to avoid.
So if someone went into therapy, what can they expect?
From a therapist who has experience and training in trauma, they can experience a lot of compassion, they can experience empathy, they can experience education, so they can also experience whether or not they might need medication for some time while they're experiencing some of the acute signs. And so they can also experience, hey, it's time to refer you on to a medical evaluator, but I'll be able to do the therapy with you and to walk you through this journey.
So, truthfully, it kind of sounds a little overwhelming to think of, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to deal with it, and I sure as heck don't want to go into therapy and just open up all that can of worms again.
Right.
How is that going to be beneficial to me?
So one of the things that is going to be beneficial is just knowing with a therapist that you really trust, that you develop a really good relationship with, that just talking about it provides relief and provides, I'm not insane. I'm normal to experience these feelings of anger, these feelings of overwhelming sadness, these feelings of this replaying in my mind. So right away, just knowing that you're normal to experience this provides some relief. And then what research shows is when people start experiencing, here's the game plan of how to walk you through this process. With a quality experienced therapist, they can say, this is the game plan. Let's join together on how to not have you be stuck in the anger or in the grief, and how to get you through the process into a life where you can live without this constant feeling of grief or despair or flashbacks or avoiding and building trust.
Is it really possible to get past the trauma and not be impacted by it on a daily basis?
So the fact that the person has left your life will always be there. I wish that we could take that away. But the fact of the trauma, the feeling of the hyperarousal, the feeling of the avoidance, the feeling of these flashbacks and reoccurring nightmares, those can go away. It makes me so sad when I'm sitting across from someone who has been experiencing this replay of this trauma for years in their lives. It makes me sad that they've not sought professional help to just walk them through this and put it behind them.